attempt specifically to put my beliefs into my stories, nor to keep them out either. An exception is Pastmaster, because religion was the subject of that novel. But the belief is part of the person who writes the stories, and it will be there naturally. There's a double standard in this area, though. There is considerable preaching against preaching, and an amazing amount of decrying religion by the people of the most intolerant religions. Belief is religion. The most rampantly righteous religions in the world are the religions of secularism, humanism, liberalism, nihilism, scientism, inhumanism, and diabolism. We have those with hatred as the central commodity, those with perversions as central, those with disorder as central, those with worthlessness as central. We have cheap-shotting as a crusading religion, and it is out of these that militant preachers come. Certainly, three-quarters of SF is given over to the relentless preaching of those of the anti-religious religions. They're the ones who carry on the biggest feuds and the covert as well as open attacks and who recommend the boycotts. The longest work by an SF practitioner in recent years is a preachment for worthlessness for the sake of worthlessness, and it will not accept anything but total worthlessness for everyone. Ah, well, if I can't preach about preaching, what can I preach about? And then I'll skip over this, but Lafferty was also asked, why do you consider Pastmaster to be a failure? Pastmaster was a failure because hardly anyone got what I was talking about. The Golden Asteroid was a rotten place. Many readers thought that it was a fine and desirable place. There's the same difficulty about the utopia that its hero wrote. Most people who read it, and I don't believe there are too many who really read it, believe that it is a sort of ideal or heavenly vision, but it is a hellish vision and intended to be. Golden Asteroid, which is present-day Earth, has a lot of things wrong with it, but they are vested and defended, and it is only the things that are right with it that are howled down and hooted. Maybe I'll write something someday to say the things I didn't know how to say in Pastmaster. There is still a very big gap in it. Somebody could fall into that thing and get killed. And then my favorite is a line, it's actually my favorite line in Pastmaster, spoken by Father Adopter, and he says, the Holy Ghost certainly chooses strange instruments. Sometimes I think he's out of his mind. All right, and with that, if you could each just briefly introduce yourselves.
Okay, I'm Sam Tomeno. I've been reading Lafferty for, 45 some years or whatever it is, and I review short fiction for sfreview.com, and it's pretty much what I do.
I'm Daryl Schweitzer. I'm a writer, editor, critic, and so on. I suppose my distinction in this context is that I'm one of the few people who ever actually interviewed Lafferty. And as I remember correctly, we reprinted the entire interview in last year's program book, so you've all got a copy. I worked with a couple of magazines that actually published the occasional Lafferty story, including one of my great favorites, which is You Can't Go Back, which was published in Asimov's and George Sither's day. And there was in the issue in which I did the interview with Lafferty for Amazing. And I remember there was a Lafferty story in that issue, but I now can't remember which one. So I, I've obviously been reading Lafferty since the 1960s. And I think like everybody else, we're still trying to figure out what Lafferty is about now. But he won't go away.
Okay. My name is Robert B. I've been reading Lafferty for a while. I actually published an article on Pastmaster in the Internet Review of Science Fiction, which was republished in East of Laughter. So I've been reading Lafferty and science fiction for a long time. Nancy?
My name is Nancy Leibovitz. I've also been reading Lafferty since the 60s. I may have accumulated a slightly odd angle on him, or several slightly odd angles.